Do I think render could be a big narrative moving forward? That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, even though nothing I say is financial advice. The reason why is because I think render has proven somewhat its real world utility. And let me show you what I'm talking about, because not too long ago, Render made a post on X, and it said that a backpack, a laptop, and Render Network is all 3D artist Dspal needs to render FIFA commercials. Now we gotta think about this. That's hypothetically very fantastic. Again, a backpack, a laptop, and Render Network. This is very amazing because, of course, I would assume that making a FIFA commercial would be pretty challenging. I don't think it's going to be, something easy or anything like that. So I think this, again, kind of showcases how Render actually has hypothetical, real world utility. And seeing it, let's say, go to the price of $50, that wouldn't surprise me, even though there's no guarantees. The reason why is because when I take a look at Render, I don't think the use case is bad. Like, for instance, the Render Network enables individuals to contribute unused GPU power to help projects render motion graphics and visual effects. And now some people may be thinking, okay, why would anyone want to do that? It's because, first of all, keep in mind, it's unused GPU power anyways. And allegedly, individuals who do provide this, again, GPU power, they are rewarded by way of render tokens. Again, I think it's a pretty cool concept because it kind of reminds me of like Airbnb. Like, for instance, let's say I have an apartment somewhere and let's say I'm not using it. Then I can, rent it out, right? Because it's unused anyways. So it's pretty cool. But in this case, of course, it's about GPU power. But again, it's kind of the analogy I would use. So I think Render has a pretty good concept. I wouldn't say that it's useless. It's just my perspective. And keep in mind, Render quite essentially, allegedly, is simplifying the process of rendering and streaming 3D environments and other visual effects, which again I think kind of harps back to the post on X I was talking about earlier on the video. But even besides that, arguably one of the focuses of Render moving forward, I would say, is AI. And I think this is pretty interesting because, of course, I get it, a lot of these AI projects haven't necessarily been doing the best, but that can be said for many altcoins, so it's not nothing that necessarily, alarms me or something like that. But even besides that, the AI market is predicted to reach, according to Grandview Research, nearly $2 trillion by 2030. I mean, if that prediction ever becomes true, that's bigger than a lot of countries' GDP. So I find that pretty interesting to me. But again, only time will tell. Now, keep in mind, use cases for Render includes markets such as augmented reality, mixed reality, gaming, medical, and even virtual reality as well. And I do like the direction when it comes to blockchain gaming more specifically. So I kind of like how Render has a pretty diverse use case. Now let's say at the price of $50, considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around $26 billion. And it's around a 15x from here. I get it, some people may be thinking, okay, around a 15x, wow, and all this, right? But in my opinion, when I take a look at Bitcoin, let's say goes to 300 grand, some people are saying, but that's slightly less than a 3x from here. Is Dogecoin doing around a 15x in the next 6 to 10 months? This is just the way to take a look at it. Again, Render $50 around a 15x from here. Who knows if we'll ever reach that? But, it wouldn't be too shocking to me. Now, around a $26 billion market cap, keep in mind Dogecoin exceeded that by around $60 billion back in 2021. And I feel like the factors back then may hypothetically not look as bullish as right now, even though, again, altcoins are not doing the best. But just keep in mind, back in the peak of the 2021 bull run, around 300 million crypto owners. Now we have over 600 million. That's like a totally 9-day difference. Now, when will altcoins exactly wake up? Maybe if it ever does. Who knows? Only time will tell, in my opinion. But then, at least I can take a look back in history and see how altcoins usually, as a worst-case scenario, peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. So 18 months from April of last year, when the last Bitcoin halving event happened, it would actually mean around October this year. Now again, only time will tell because that is based off history, who knows? But whenever it does decide to happen, that is completely out of my control. The only thing I can control is myself, and that is just holding, waiting, and that's it. It's a patience game for me. I cannot control anything else beyond that. But in the meantime, I'm going to still stay patient. But that's about it. But again, when people ask me about the narrative when it comes to Render, I do like it because I do like its use case and I like its utility. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.